Good morning. Well, saw the Mavs play last night. It was awesome. J.J. Barea. He was awesome last night. And Luka Doncic. He was pretty dang good, too. That was a lot of fun. Do we have like an official go, or is there a horn? Are we waiting on a horn?
Hey, good morning, Coach. I
Good
was
morning.
just checking to see it's now Thursday, and everybody wants to know if you've heard from the NCAA about the 3 players.
Not yet. We should hear something today, but as of 8:09, of course it's early. I think this place is somewhere in L.A., so they're about 3 hours behind us. So, I guess that's about 2 or 3 hours from where we are. So we'll see. Hopefully today, sometime.
Coach, you guys it's getting kind of old hat for you guys to show up and do these things now. Can you talk about the preparation you guys are going through? Right down here in front.
Oh,
Coach.
there you are.
Can you talk about preparation this time around? Has anything changed, or is it just the same old, week by week? Day of the week, name of the week.
Yeah, well, the timing has changed. Dealing with Christmas, that's been a little different. And then, as far as again, just moving the game up, that's changed a little bit of the length of time to prep by a couple days. So that's really the biggest change is just kind of managing Christmas, this time as opposed to the last few times that we've been in this game. So, but it's been fun. It really has. I mean, it's been a great experience. Really have enjoyed all of it. Honestly, I've just truly, and I've been very intentional with that. To just truly enjoy the journey. I've tried to challenge our guys and just all of it, the preparation, our meetings, our practices, just spending time with these guys because we know that we're not going to have much more longer with this group. Hopefully it goes our way Saturday night, but this could be our last time together with these guys. Hopefully we can earn one more game. But this has been an incredibly special group of young people to be around, and just the daily grind of hanging with these guys and watching them all season has been just a real joy. And so our prep has been really good in Clemson. It's been really good here. The Cotton Bowl folks have been amazing. They've just made this such an easy experience for us, taking great care of us. From the transportation, the police escorts, just being able to get to and from practice, to be able to stay on schedule with our itinerary, all those things have been really, really good. So, and to be able to practice here, I mean, this has been amazing because it's very different, obviously. So to get acclimated to it, I think has been a positive for our guys. But overall, a great experience.
Dabo, Ian Book yesterday was talking about the privilege of pressure. I assume you pretty much see things the same way there.
Yeah, I think it is a privilege when you're in situations like this that are so-called pressure. At the end of the day, I always say, it's a football game, and I try to, and it's important to all of us. We put in a tremendous amount of work. Both teams want to win, I promise you, to the nth degree. But somebody's going to lose, somebody's going to win. And, if we're fortunate enough to win, Notre Dame's had an amazing year. If they ended up winning, we've had an amazing year. And you can't let the pressure of a moment steal your joy. I think the biggest focus is just stay focused on the joy of doing. Just the fact that we're getting the opportunity to do this that very few people get, and the joy of competing at the highest level. This is what it's all about. And so, yeah, I think it is when you so-called have this type of pressure, it is a privilege because that means that you are really getting a chance to experience something and be a part of something that's unique and something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. Thank you.
Dabo, if you had to put a percentage on it, or the way you're looking at Dexter's availability coming up, how are you feeling about the chances of him playing? How are you trying to move forward and prepare as you get a couple days away?
I have no idea. I have no clue. But as far as our team, you know, we move forward Monday as if, like I said, Monday it's an injury. You know, we got to get ready to play. And if they say he can play, well, boom, that'd be a cherry on top. But you know, we got a bunch of good players, and Albert Huggins is a co-starter for us anyway. I mean, he's a great talent, and I don't have any doubt that he'll step in and do a great job for us, as will Niles and Jordan. So just more opportunity for those guys. No different than any other position. If you have an injury or somebody can't play for whatever reason, you get the next guy ready. So as a football coach, that's all we can control, and that's how we've gone into the week. So you know, we'll hope to hear something today, but we've prepared fully to go without him. Well, I mean, I don't have time to worry about that. You know, we got a game play inside. We got a whole team of people who will figure that stuff out. But spent a lot of time with it over the past weekend while we were off when I first got notified last Thursday. So we're going to look at anything and everything. I mean, because it literally could come from anything. The only thing, like I said, the only thing I know is these guys have not intentionally done anything. That I know. If it's in their system, how it got in there, I have no clue of that. But we'll have to figure that out some way, somehow. But it could come from anything, literally.
Hey, Dabo. Just wondering if you are surprised you still have Tony Ellett and Brent Venables on your staff and they're not head coaches somewhere else at this point.
Not really. You know, I mean, I think that everything's on God's timing, and you know, I think Brent he's had several opportunities to be a head coach. He just hasn't had the right opportunity that has, you know, gotten him fired up. You know, Brent's not going to do anything if he can't be fully passionate about it, and so that's just kind of how he's wired. He loves what he does. He's, I think, the best at what he does. But we got a bunch of guys on our staff that are going to be great head coaches, and you know, Tony, you said, Jeff Scott, all these, we got a bunch of guys. Streeter, we got several guys. You go over on the other side of the ball. I think Todd Bates and Mike Reed be great head coaches if they got the opportunity. Go on and on and on. I mean, I got a bunch of guys on my support staff that we're going to look back 15, 20 years from now, and they're going to be great head coaches. So, you know, I don't know. And several of these guys have had some opportunities. It just hasn't been the right fit for them to walk away from where they are. But you know, I love to see my staff get opportunities that they want, and at some point that'll happen for them.
Dabo, do you think this is going to be another BYOG game minus the rain?
Oh, it's definitely a BYOG game. There ain't no doubt. They all are. You know, we won't have a hurricane in here for sure. I don't think, but you know, this is definitely a game that it's going to take a lot of guts and courage, a lot of heart, and again, those are things that individually you have to bring yourself.
Dabo, swinging back around to Albert Huggins, can you talk about the process he's went through since he came to Clemson and what it took for him to buy in to be where he's at right now?
Well, obviously a really talented player coming out of high school down in Orangeburg, but he was a defensive end, and it's kind of what he wanted to play. But it was pretty quickly we realized he wasn't a defensive end. His body, his mind was saying defensive end, but his body was saying D tackle, and so it took a little while to transition him and for him to really kind of buy into that. He is unbelievably strong. He might be the strongest guy, but he's in the top 2 or 3, probably him and Cervenka. I mean, his strength is unbelievable across the board and all of his numbers. So he's got a lot of natural gifts for the position, but it took a little while for him to buy in. And then I don't think he was as focused on being what it was going to take to be a great player at this level. I think he had just kind of always been the bigger, stronger guy, and now he's got a bunch of other big, strong guys around him that I think early on worked harder, were more committed, more focused, more disciplined. Loved loved the meetings, loved the off season, all that stuff. Whereas Albert did everything that he needed to do. He's a great kid. He's always been a great kid. But he just wasn't an above and beyond guy. And but a lot of guys are like that when they come in as freshmen or sophomores. But the light kind of went on for him after that sophomore year, and his junior year, he started to transition maturity-wise into, hey, all right, if I'm going to be a great player, I've got all these tools. I've got to prepare a little bit better, and that's what he's done. And it's been awesome to see the transformation in him. I mean, I've seen many players that the light just comes on, and that's what's happened with Albert. He bought in, he's put the work in, he's grinded, and then the fact that he stayed. I mean, because when you're as talented a player, I mean, Albert's he's a high NFL caliber player. I mean, big time. I mean, and the fact that he stayed to be in a rotation with Dexter and Christian, I mean, those are 2 first-round guys for sure. And then you got Albert, who's he's not far off of that. I mean, he's a really, really, again, high-level guy for the next level. And the fact that he stayed and bought into just, playing in the rotation of those 3 guys, all of them have worked well together. I'm really proud of him. And hey, you hate it for Dexter in this situation he's dealing with, but man, what an opportunity for Albert to really make a statement here down the stretch.
Dabo, when you played Notre Dame in 2015, that was kind of a pivotal game for your program at the time. Could you kind of share your reflections from that night and also discuss how that's kind of springboarded your program to where it's gotten to?
Yeah, I don't really see that as a springboard. I think the springboard to our program was 2010, to be honest with you. And that sounds crazy. We won 6 games that year. But that's kind of, for me, when I knew that we really had the foundation in place. Just how I saw our team handle that season, how they competed. And then the very next year we won the ACC in 11. And to me, that was kind of we won the division in 09, and then we come back in 11 and win the league, win 10 games for the first time. Now we're 8-10 win seasons in a row. To me, that was the kind of the pivotal moment. Taj Boyd taking over in 11 there and leading us to that first title. We just kind of went from there. But certainly that game in 15 was one of those steps. I think we've made a lot of steps along the way, and that was definitely one of those steps because it was game day. Both teams had been off for 16 days, if I remember correctly. For whatever reason, we had this crazy layoff, and I believe we had just won up at Louisville, a big win. We knew we had a good team. It was Deshaun's sophomore year, and we were somewhere top 10, maybe 9 or 10, and they were 2 or 3 or somewhere up in the top 5, and if I remember correctly. But it was one of those games where if you win it, if you lose it, you weren't going to be out of it. It was early in the season, but if you win the game, you got a chance to really position yourself well at that stage of the season. And but there was just a lot of emotion in that game. It was game day, and for Clemson people had been looking forward to that game since it was announced because they hadn't played them since the late 70s. Joe Montana, last-minute drive, big shocker there. So it was just a lot of build-up to it, a lot of energy, a lot of emotion for both teams. And then it was a hurricane on top of it, and it was just an unbelievable. I mean, I literally remember late. It was like sometime in the third quarter, you literally could not see across the field. I mean, it was unbelievable but it was one of the funnest games I've ever been a part of. I mean, it was an epic game. It's a shame that somebody had to lose, but for it to come down to a 2-point play, and I still have visions of Ben Boulware slapping his head and doing flips, forward flips all across the field, getting up, celebrating. It was an awesome moment. You know, Travis Blanks and Kevin Dodd, all those guys that were in on that play. It was special, you know, and I think that was, again, you know, a national win for us, if you will, out of conference, that gave that particular team a nice little boost going into the rest of the season. But there were a lot of big wins in that season, for sure. There were some big ones, a lot of close games.
Coach, here in the back, given that this is your 4th straight year in the college football playoff, Notre Dame has never been here before. Just how much does that experience help you guys?
Well, I mean, I think we're a veteran team for sure, and I think experience is definitely good, but it still doesn't have anything to do with the game. I think at the end of the day, you got to play well. You know, it's just simple as that. When we got here in 2015. We had not been in this situation either, and we beat a really good Oklahoma team and Baker Mayfield and all that, and you know, you have to play well in this game. It's a few plays in games like this. So I'm thankful that we've got an experienced team, but you know, it still comes down to how you play on that particular day.
As a head coach, do you remember what was going through your mind in the moments leading up to kickoff for your very first playoff game?
Yeah, I mean, we try to prepare for all these games the same, to be honest with you. You just obviously have a lot more time, but once we get into this point right here, this is Thursday for us, it becomes very routine. And, you know, it's just certain things that we do. This is obviously not routine, but when we're done with this and we get back to our meetings and practice today, it'll be very, very routine for us all the way till kickoff. So, you know, it's exciting. You know, you just embrace it. I mean, it's fun. This is what we all work hard to do. And there's only 4 teams that are getting a chance to experience, you know, this particular setting. But you know, we try to treat it like any other game.
Hey, Dabo. As far as just how unique the situation is with Dexter and the other 2 guys, how difficult is it to be as transparent as you want to be when it comes to just what happened and how this whole thing kind of came about?
Not difficult at all. I mean, I can't be any more transparent. I really can't. I laid it out. Got a call on Thursday. Here's what happened. The rest, I have no clue. I can't be any more transparent than that. This is exactly what it is. I've never heard of it. You know, could have easily said, oh, whatever violation for whatever rules, but I felt like, again, that it was important to be specific, because I know that these guys have not intentionally done anything, and so I don't know how more transparent I can be than that.
How has the, I guess, independent research gone as far as just, are you close to finding an answer?
I'm focused on Notre Dame. That's it. That's my job to coach the team. I'm not a chemist or scientist or nutritionist or AD or lawyer or any of that stuff. I'm the football coach, and that's it.
Hi. I know that you said you were focused on Notre Dame, but did you get a chance at all to see the TCU Cal game last night?
I did not. I was at the Mavs game.
Oh, that's right.
So I was watching the Mavs and the Pelicans and watching J.J. Barea and Luka Doncic, I think that's his name, tear it up for the Mavs. It was awesome.
A little off topic, but I remember, Dabo, you talking about when you first got the Clemson job, you paid a visit to Texas. Mac Brown showed you around for like 2 days and your staff around. He's back in the ACC now at North Carolina. But one, what do you remember about that visit to Texas back then? And 2, What do you think of Mac coming back to the ACC?
Yeah, well, I'm super happy for Mac. He and Sally, I'm pumped that this is something that they. I don't think he would have taken any other job, but that job, and it's I think a great way for him to finish on his own terms, the way he wants to finish, to help build their program back. I don't have any doubt he'll do that. He's going to be awesome for our league. I'm excited about the meetings to be in that setting with Coach Brown. But specifically to your question, yeah, I was I got the job in December of '08, and so went through our very brief recruiting process that we had. We signed 12 guys that February, and I reached out to several coaches to try to go visit, just really prominent head coaches that I really, I didn't know, but I felt like they did things the right way, and I just wanted to go and pick their brain. And I had Mac was the only one that said okay, and I didn't really know Mac, but I just remember calling him up and left a message. He called me back, and he said he was just very congratulatory. He said, "Man, I'm really happy for you. I actually kept up with you," which I thought was kind of cool, that Mac Brown was paying attention to what the interim guy was doing at Clemson. And he said, "Heck yeah, come on out." And so I did, brought the whole staff, and it was awesome. It was great. Their staff was very gracious. And I was just hoping to get a little bit of time with him, and he spent several hours with me, and always be so grateful for that. Here's a guy that has been there, done that numerous times, and I just had a lot of specific things that I wanted to pick his brain on, and took pages of notes and just had great conversation, and came away with some confirmation, and came away with maybe some different thoughts as well. And so it was an incredibly meaningful meeting for me as we came back and really kind of kicked our new program off going into that first spring.
And a quick follow-up on that. I remember you saying that you still had the file, Mark Mac Brown, that you sometimes looked at. And what was the biggest takeaway you got from meeting with Mac, or the biggest takeaways?
Yeah, I don't know what the biggest takeaway. Probably just be who I am, and just time management. That had been a real challenge going from the interim, as you can imagine, and just trying to figure out where I needed to put my time, because there's a lot of plates spinning, and so he was great in all aspects. But that was probably two of the biggest things right there, was just, like I said, kind of managing my time a little better, being able to say no, just kind of talking to him about how he managed some certain things and requests. It can be a little overwhelming, and then just being who I am.
Dabo, did you have a sore neck at all after your first practice in here from looking up at the Jumbotron all the time?
Not really, because I was out here on the field and I was a little frustrated. I think they should have put it on the bottom too. So, I just look up and I couldn't see anything. So I guess if I stood on the sideline, maybe, but I was kind of always out here on the field, and I couldn't really see anything. So.
With these types of games, is it nice to have a few days where you come in here and practice in the stadium so you get used to it instead of it being a brand new experience on Saturday for you?
Yeah, especially for this situation. This is really unique. The lighting, I'm anxious to kind of see, the timing of when we play and what that's going to look like in here from a sun standpoint. But it's really unique for your receivers, the way the lighting structure is in here, the punt catchers, even your kickers and punters. They're not used to kind of having something over the top. But I'm going to tell you, we punted that thing. That's up there. It's a lot higher than you think. I think just the magnitude of this building makes it look a little lower, but it's really high. But it's super cool. And so yeah, it's been great. And I think our focus has been good. We've had plenty of room to do what we need to do. We got a great weight room. We've had a couple. We pretty much have had a workout every day too, so it's been nice.
You obviously have gone through this numerous times with your team, but do you ever allow yourself to have a moment or two where you are reminded of being a fan and you're, hey, we're here, like I'm coaching in the playoff and I'm coaching against Notre Dame, a program you grew up watching, I'm assuming, as a younger coach or a younger person. I don't know if you were coaching in the 80s or not, but you never know. Hey, you never know. Do you ever let yourself have a moment or two where you kind of like, hey, this is kind of cool?
Yeah, I was in high school in the 80s, 88. I graduated 88, and then I went to Alabama. But absolutely, every day I have a moment. Every day I get to walk on this field. Every day I get to hop on the bus and watch those crazy people on those police motorcycles fly around and ride side by side. I mean, it's awesome. I just appreciate every aspect of it to the nth degree, and I try to get my players to be the same because it is such a privilege to be here. And and I've been in college football now for a long time, since '89, and I've had a lot of great experiences, and I have an appreciation for how fast it goes and how fleeting time is, and none of us are promised tomorrow. Absolutely. Every day I wake up, I thank the good Lord for another day and for the opportunity to do what I do.
Dabo, so the one big question I think a lot of us, if not all of us here, are really wondering, Carolina or Texas barbecue?
Ooh, let's see. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've had Texas barbecue yet.
I hate to see it.
I don't think I've had. So I got to go. With the smoking pig back in Clemson.
I think you gotta get the brisket first, the chopped brisket or sliced brisket or something before you make that final call.
Okay. All right. We'll do it.
Dabo, with the ascension of Travis Etienne this year, just your thoughts on how Tavian Feaster's kind of seems like he's really remained positive, remained humble, hasn't been a problem as far as chemistry, and this is a guy that could probably be a featured back at most any other college in the country.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, Feaster is a starter for us and has started a bunch of games over the last couple of years, but was hurt in camp. Excuse me, was a little banged up in camp. And took him a little while to kind of get back to 100%, and Travis just took off and really won the job. But as I said, coming into the season, I felt like our backs were going to be a real strength for our team. That was the one position that I thought when the season was over, people were going to say, man, what a year we've had at running back. And we have. We're one of the top 10 rushing teams in the country. And it's a credit to all those guys. Obviously, Travis has been just amazing, unbelievable. Feaster, as he got healthy, has had some very impactful moments as well, as has Adam Choice. But for sure, the chemistry in that room is special. They're all close friends. They all support each other. I think all three of those guys will play at the next level. And I think if you look at any great team in the NFL or any great team here, there's more than one guy. That's just the way it is. There's usually two or three guys that kind of carry the load together, and that's certainly the situation that we have here. But we're very confident in any of those guys going out there and being a starter for us at any particular time. But Travis has certainly separated himself and had an All-American type season.
As far as Tavian specifically, would it have been easy for a guy like that to kind of go sideways a little bit with the way things have panned out with Travis, with Tavian being the starter last year and probably figuring he'd play his final 2 years, looking to really do some big things as an individual here?
Well, I think in a world of individual, yeah, it'd be easy. But we have a close team, and I think our culture is all about the right things, and certainly Tavian is a competitor, and he knows his talent, and we know his talent. He is a tremendous football player, but he's a great young man, high character, and at the end of the day, you got to compete. It's simple as that. You get better. Wayne Gallman was a starter for the Giants last year, and they drafted Saquon Barkley. You just go to work and you do your job, and you do it in a positive way to the very best of your ability, and you stay confident in who you are. that's how you handle things. That's how you respond. You don't run from those challenges. And I think that's exactly what Tavian's done is just taking advantage of his opportunities and showing up every day and competing his tail off. But he's got a bright, bright future for sure.
Has Tavian discussed with you at all the possibility of maybe moving on to the NFL draft after this year?
No.
Hey, Coach. Adam Kramer from Bleacher Report. Just wanted to ask about Hunter Renfrow. We've done this before, but since he's arrived, how much of the program has changed? And of course, he's been a huge part of that. So just not a reflection, so to speak, but just kind of the impact he's had on the program here these last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So I guess he came in 14. That was his first year. He redshirted that year. So he's had a heck of a run, that's for sure. It's been an amazing journey for him, both for our team and for him. But he's had complete transformation physically. First of all, he was 155 pounds when he got to Clemson, and now he's a massive, strapping 182. So he's 27, 30 pounds heavier than when he arrived, and he couldn't hardly bench the bar when he got to Clemson. I think he can maybe do 225, maybe 5 times now. So he's Hulk. It's just amazing. He really is. I mean, he is one of the most unique stories that you will ever see in college football, and just a great young man. First of all, just a great teammate. One of the hardest workers we've ever had. He's always the same guy. I've never seen him have a bad day, ever. He's even when he's gets hurt or something like that, he's just always has such an incredible spirit to him. He loves his teammates, but he's the most normal person you would ever meet. You would never in a million years meet him and think that and then watch a highlight of him and be like, that's that guy? He's so unassuming, very humble, but I'm telling you, he has become a superstar on the field. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible what he has done. We've had some amazing receivers come through Clemson, and we got a team full of them right now, but he's the most unique without question, and has just been clutch time and time and time again. Very skilled. He's fast. He's explosive. He's not a tall guy, but he plays long. He's got great length. His lateral ability is special, and he's going to be a great pro, man. I mean, I can't wait to see. The game is going to be easier for him at the next level because of the way the rules are, and I'm telling you, he's going to be what you're seeing right now. He's going to be beyond that at the next level. The guy is just brilliant football player, and I can't wait to see him in what he's going to do after Clemson. But his transformation has been awesome, and he's been a part of every step of the way with our program as it's grown.
And then the other wideout I'll ask you about is T. Higgins. His development this year and just your perception of how much better he's gotten, the impact he's had on your team.
Yeah, well, he was obviously a highly recruited guy coming out of high school, very talented, as we knew, but really had a really good freshman year, but just needed to get in the weight room. He was a basketball guy that needed to become a football guy, and that's exactly what he's done. And so the experience he got last year was priceless for him because he had a vision for what it looked like and what he needed to do to become a great player at this level, and man, he put the work in the off season. Very focused, very mature, high character, and just a young man that knows exactly what he wants. And I'm really proud of him. Good student, but he has grinded this entire season, and boy, has he been dominant. I mean, he's to me been as good as anybody out there. He's a big time boundary receiver for us.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it. Fauci.
How's it going?
It's great.
Now, there's been a huge controversy going on right now. And that controversy is who has better hair, me or Trevor Lawrence?
Well, let me think about that. I'm gonna have to go with you, Fauci, because simply you're the more mature. You're a little older, a little more seasoned. Your hair's been around longer, so I think that you don't really put as much effort into it, so it comes a little more natural to you. And he probably has all kind of products and things like that to make his look beautiful, and you're just kind of all natural. So I'm gonna give the nod. Shout out to the OL. You got it. You got it.
Final rule right there. You said it. Best hair on the team right here.
Oh, there's Renfro right there. How are you?
I'm sure you've already got this question plenty of times, but Jory Epstein with USA Today. And what's the latest on Dexter, and how's your team been handling it?
We don't know anything. There's no latest. Should know something today, but we have just been preparing like it's an injury.
When you see him here talking to the media today and saying, I can't do anything about it, but I wanted to make sure to come talk to you, what message do you think that sends?
Well, those guys, I gave those three guys the option just because, they don't want to be a distraction, and they know that if they walk in here, there's going to be a million of the same questions that they really can't answer. But Dexter was pretty adamant that he wanted to come just simply because he's a leader on this team, and he loves his teammates, and he's a very mature guy, and he has nothing to hide. The other guys don't either, but like I said, Dexter's role as a leader, he felt like it was important that he be here to support these guys. So
He said when you called him that he was like, are you crazy? And
Yeah.
as you mentioned the other day, are
Yeah.
you joking? What was it like? What did you feel like when you were calling them?
I couldn't even believe it. I thought my AD was joking with me when he called, but really they all three had the same reaction. I mean, it was just total disbelief. So then it was just trying to ask questions like, is there, trying to get to the bottom of any possible way that just kind of going back through anything from a hair product to whatever, and then let Natalie and them kind of step in and take it from there. But it was tough because that this is something that they've worked hard to be a part of, and incredible disappointment, just heartbroken and disbelief, and then same with the parents and so forth. So it was a very, very difficult phone call.
As you mentioned Monday, any appeal other than the B sample showing a different result couldn't be done before Saturday. Do you think the NCAA should change that rule so that in the future there would be able to fix it in time?
Yeah, I think they have a process that's in place. I mean, my big thing, I think there should be a common sense committee, to be honest with you. I don't know where that committee, but there should be a common sense committee that I think could easily look at this situation and say, all right, let's have some common sense here. But I don't think that's a part of the process. I don't think that committee exists. I think it's just more of a set process, and it is what it is, and we're all at the mercy of that process.
Sure. Thanks for your time.
You got it. What's up?
Dabo, spent some time with Dexter. He's really been a stand-up guy his whole ordeal.
Yep.
I mean, that's who he is.
Dexter is one of the sweetest young people you'll ever meet in this world. He is an incredible young man. Incredible. Great family, great student, great teammate. It just, your heart breaks for him, for sure. But that's exactly who he is. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. And trust me, I wouldn't stand up here and stand up for a guy that I didn't know without a shred of a doubt the type of person he is. What's up? You got nothing? You got nothing? Nothing. All right. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. On the 2-minute countdown. You got a question? Nothing?
The opposing defense, Drew Tranquil on the Notre Dame defense.
He's a great player. He's active, I mean, you can tell he's an unbelievable leader. Really special young man as well. He's one of those Campbell guys like Christian Wilkins. I mean, this guy's he's just a winner, and you can tell that he's one of the heart and soul guys on that team.